Until now, you had to choose between good taste and low calories. Until now.
The time is right for Pepsi Light. Lemony, Pepsi Light. We put a little lemony taste in and took out half the calories.
Refreshing Pepsi Light. The cola with a lemony taste in and half the calories of regular cola's out.
We put a little lemony taste in and took out half the calories.
This is private property, and that we keep the location private because him and his wife don't want to be bothered. Not that anyone would do that, but I always do get these questions, where is this place? So I can answer that by saying, don't worry about it. All right. Here's 2 more TVs. I just don't have room. Look at all that. Wow. This thing must have 20 pounds of dirt on it. You can't even see the holes anymore. What is this one down here? I have no more room in my car. 0. Absolute 0. Philco Ford, solid state color. Wow.
You through videoing?
Wow, look at that.
Oh, one a day.
I have never seen a TV with so much friggin' dirt and rat crap on top of it that you can't see the grill on top anymore. People are going to say this video is a prop or it's staged.
It is.
It is?
Watched you stage it all morning.
Wow. This is kind of neat though. I'd like to have this because it's color and it's a Philco Ford.
I bet you that was Don's.
Man, that thing is nasty. Let me have it. I want to. Okay. So when I picked that one up, I ripped the top off of this one. And this one has a brightener on it anyway, so it's CRT is dead. Wow, look at the chassis. Is that incredible or what? Holy crap. Wow. Oh crap, here's another one. Hey Kevin, come move this. Right there under that board. Wow. Oh, crap. Huh?
That was great.
What is this? Oh, this is a Matsushita or Panasonic. Panasonic. I gotta get this. I don't care if I have to strap it to the roof. These are rare. Where's the record player, Ed?
Over by the table. It's all busted up.
Yeah, look at that. This is just unacceptable. I'll get that to work.
This appears to be a cold room. It's concrete with an extremely thick insulated door.
And it has bats.
And there's a bat in here that's very unhappy because he can't get out. So we're blocking his fingers over here. Yeah. And
Hey guys, say hello. Oh.
he won't hurt you.
No, I know, but
That's in the fridge.
so this is buried underground, or it was at one time. I always keep my TVs in a root cellar. But here, close the door. This is cool. That's cool.
It's not going to go
Wow,
down.
look at that.
It's a little too warped.
Talk about old school.
See how they cut the edge off that hanging off the hinges? Those are beauties. Oh, I love that. Got a little brass handle. Unique.
This really sets the record for nasty, dirty. I want to show you guys the generator that runs this place. This place is completely off the grid. This is a 60-plus-year-old single-cylinder diesel generator. It runs at, I believe he said 500 RPMs. It uses a little over 5 gallons of diesel a day. and it's completely rebuildable. It's geared up to 1800 RPMs. That's the pulley ratio to run the generator.
Safety control. Oil pressure gets down to about 5. Just drop. Run out of oil, that will shut the engine down. And this one shuts it down if it gets too hot. When it kicks back, you can tell it's got compression. In order to start it, you have to, this is the throttle, see? That has to go on. So you have to lock that up. And then once it starts, you gotta remember to take that off so this will work. Okay. Now, this is the compression release. And release that. Then we get the crank. Okay. Now the crank goes on here. And this is set up at 11 inches for a reason. And the reason is you can use your knees and your arms and your shoulders. See, if everything's flat, it's a lot harder to start. Okay, it's heavy. Both these flywheels weigh 400 pounds, so you got 800 pounds of flywheel plus the rest of the mass to get moving. And you got to get it up fast enough or it won't start. If it fires, it's going to keep going. Watt generator.
So Don, tell me, what is it again? What year is it?
That was, I think, made in the 1950s, 52 or something.
Okay.
And it's probably 60 years old. And those engines can be rebuilt over and over. And about 2 or 3 years ago, we put a new cylinder in it. And the cylinder is pretty big. It's a 5-inch bore and an 8-inch stroke. And so you have to rig up a puller to pull the cylinder out, and then you press one back in. But that cylinder will last for 15 years. And eventually your cylinder gets out of round. And when it's get about 11 thousandths out of round, then it pumps too much oil, and you gotta take it out and either get that cylinder sleeved back to standard or put a new one in.
Okay, how about starting it when it's cold? Does it have like a glow plug, or how do you heat it up? Or do you?
No. If it's cold, I squirt just a little bit of ether on the air cleaner, just a little squirt, and then I get it going, and that normally starts it. If it's real cold, then you've got to heat the engine up with heaters and blowtorches, and heat the oil. The diesel froze on me one winter. It got so cold, the light plant shut down, and it took me half a day to start that thing. And I finally I had a salamander in there to warm the room up. I had a heater right against the block, had a blowtorch. It still wouldn't go, and I drained all the oil out and got it hot, poured it back in, and then I finally got it. But it's half a day. I could never crank that long today, but.
Who was it made by?
Witte, W-I-T-T-E. Some people say Witte, but anyway, it's, let's see. I'm trying to think. It's the oil well division of one of the major companies. And they make them. They still make Wittes today. They don't make this model, but they make more modern models. This model, there was thousands of them used in the oil patch. And when you see these grasshoppers going up and down, in the old days they were all powered by Wittes. They didn't have a generator on them. They had a power takeoff on one side and a clutch. And anyway, they'd get them going and clutch it in, and the pump would start working, sucker rod pumps. And the oil patch, there's thousands of them down there. And that's where a lot of them, this old model, there's still some laying around and people buy them and rebuild them and whatnot.
Parts are still available, huh?
Yeah, there's a company in Oklahoma called Arrow, and they still make new gaskets for it and valves and valve springs and so on. You can get most of the parts. Bearings, they're on the crankshaft. You buy the bearings in Reno, but they're tapered roller bearings, and they're really heavy duty. They'll last forever, as long as you keep oil in them. And so you don't have to worry much about the bearings. I put new bearings in this one when we changed the cylinder out. But I took a crankshaft into Reno, and there's engine rebuilders in there, and they welded up that crankshaft, and then they turned it back down to standard. So the bearings that are in there are standard, and they'll last a long time. I looked at them after a couple of years and couldn't see any wear on anything. They last. The valve job, every 2 or 3 years you have to take the head off and give it a valve job. And those head gaskets, they cost $90 a piece. I have made them myself, you know, get the right material, and I've got two pieces of plywood. They're all cut out, and I clamp the stuff in there and take it out with a saber saw. I have made them because they're just too costly.
Here's the exhaust. Check out how slow this thing's running.
You can see when we don't use any water, it'll come up and there's a line goes out that way.
And then it runs across the road.
Yeah, and then I've got 2.5 inch pipe down here, welded fitting in there, and then 2.5 inch out there, and there's a big valve in there. Actually, it's a 3-inch valve. I didn't want any pipe friction at all, and so then the 2.5 inch goes on outside for a ways, and then it's 2 inch to the house. It's 3,500 feet over to the house.
And how far downhill from here?
Yeah, the house is 110 feet lower than this. So, you know, we've got 42 pounds pressure at the house.
That's good pressure.
Static pressure. That's normal town pressure is 40 pounds, 44. But now you guys can eat, this is what we drink just like it's there. So you can either dip water out of here or get it right outside there. You can take that hose off and get water.
Okay.
So this would be your water supply.
Okay. And we got a lot of water with us too.
I got a heavy duty lid there. But
Yeah, I see.
you have to keep something on there. Keep the critters out.
Yeah. So this is a spring or a well?
Well, both. When we don't use it, it runs over. It's artesian. And it'll make, depending on the winter weather, it'll make from 1 to 5 gallons a minute coming out.
So you don't have to pump it.
No. At the house is all we do is turn on a valve.
And what about in the winter as far as the pipes freezing?
Well, it's buried.
It's all buried so it doesn't freeze,
Yeah.
so no problem with that?
This is covered up good. And then it did freeze, you know, the first year because it was only like that deep. But I piled, that was that hump of dirt you drove over.
Okay.
So, but it hasn't froze since I put dirt over it. And then it's shallow for 1,000 feet, and then the rest is buried 3 to 4 feet deep.
And do you store any water at the house or is it all just
No.
live flow?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all you gotta do is turn on a valve.
That's amazing. That's great.
No power involved.
Having the water out here is more important than having the electricity out here.
Oh, and this is good water. It's sweet water, and it has plenty of trace elements in it that is actually healthy for you.
That's amazing. That's great. Makes it possible to be up here.
Yeah. This well is one of the most important things on the property.
Yeah, I'd agree. Absolutely. Here it goes
Well
away.
spring.
Wellspring, yes.
Keep it running, we need to get this out.
Okay.
These antennas were for a television translator, and he told me channel 8, but channel 8's about, I think it was 160 megahertz or 180. These look too small for that to me. These look like 700 megahertz or something like that. But I don't know, they might be multi-band, they might be log periodic. Anyway, they're defunct with the analog shut down, of course. And the owner told me I could take them if I wanted them. All four of them are tied together. That's all gain multiplication. So I don't know. I might grab one. I might not. Kind of interesting antennas. You see the four antennas feed into there, and then there's a piece of Belden RG11 75 ohm coming out of there. That's the big low loss 75 ohm coax. This is commercial stuff. Just wanted to say I got home and I got every TV that you've seen in this video except that RCA, 80s RCA console, the modern Silvertone 19-inch, and that rotten 50s thing with the brightener on it. This right here is in the front seat is that Philco Ford Color, and I think this thing is packed completely solid with dirt all the way to the top because it was very heavy. And the car, as you can see here, is just packed solid. I mean, it's packed so solid that I was to the point of opening the windows and sticking stuff in and rolling the windows back up. I even got crap strapped to the roof. Let's see if I can do this without... Packed solid. Anyway, we got a lot of resurrection videos to do, so I'm not going to be taking on anything new for a while. Model AN14 with extra dirt.